Thank you for your purchase of the Bad Axe Saw Set, inspired by the esteemed Seymour Smith Saw Set from 1876. Opting for hammer setting over plier setting provides a major advantage by minimizing the time the metal reacts when striking the teeth over a beveled edge. Unlike plier setting, which entails bending each tooth and places considerable stress on both the teeth and your hands, our approach is much smoother and more efficient. A saw set is essential for creating a kerf wider than the saw plate to prevent binding during sawing, and it helps clear material from the kerf. This process involves hitting every other tooth in one direction and the alternate teeth in the opposite direction. The offset must be uniform on both sides to maintain the saw's course. Take some time to get acquainted with the components of the saw set in your instruction manual before we get started. Some of the items that you'll need are a light-duty mallet, a permanent marker, digital calipers, an Arkansas stone, painter's tape, and optional canning wax. For smoother installation, you may apply a layer of canning wax to the screw of the main body. You will need to bore a hole 3/4 of an inch wide into a block of wood or your workbench to keep it secure. Positioning a light behind the set helps to achieve better visibility on the teeth and the anvil. To start calibrating your set, loosen the fence screws and shift the fence to the far back. Set the teeth on the anvil to locate where your break line will be. You will want to barely see the anvil's break line in between the gullets of the saw teeth. To test if we need to adjust our anvil, hold down the punch to see where it lands on the tooth. You'll want a nice even coverage without hitting the adjacent teeth. If the punch is covering too little of the tooth, shift the anvil away from you. To adjust the anvil, loosen the anvil screw with the provided Allen key. Make desired adjustments and lock into place. The proper set should be about 3/4 of the way up the tooth without being all the way into the gullet. Always assess the placement of the punch on your teeth in between adjustments. Since we know where we want our break line to be on our teeth, hold your plate in position on the anvil again and move the fence forward to meet the teeth on one side. Make sure the plate doesn't shift and lock into place. Use the provided tick marks to help align the fence to match the other side. Tighten the screws as you go. Another method of achieving this is by lightly loosening the screws and using a light-duty mallet to tap the fence into place. The set screw affects the set tolerance. Lowering the screw results in a stronger set, while raising the screw results in less set. Marking your teeth with a permanent marker helps get visibility on which teeth to set. Start on one side of the plate, marking every other tooth with a dot. If you are giving more set to an already set tooth line, establish which teeth are facing away from you and dot those teeth. When finished, flip the plate and dot the opposite teeth. To get into position, hold the plate tightly up against the fence and grip your third finger behind the chassis while pressing the tooth line down in front of the punch with your forefinger. Position your thumb along the spine of the saw plate. To see if you've adjusted your set properly, strike a couple of teeth, then assess the location of the break line on the opposite side of the plate. If the break line is set too close to the gullet or less than halfway down the tooth, readjust the anvil and the fence. Use digital calipers to get the best reading on how much set you've given your teeth. To see if you've got a consistent reading on your set, grab only onto the teeth and take measurements at several locations on the tooth line. Mark any light set areas with a permanent marker to set them again. Depending on the plate gauge, you may be able to set the same teeth multiple times, but you want to avoid pointing the teeth by hitting them too hard. Once you have the saw set calibrated to the right tolerance, hit every other dotted tooth on one side and the opposite teeth on the other side. Plates that have a thicker gauge require more downward force in setting, and vice versa with the thinner plates. Always assess your set by looking at the tops of the teeth to make sure they're not squished, checking the break line, and measuring the set with digital calipers. If one side of your plate has more set than the other, it will result in your cut drifting in one direction. You may use an Arkansas stone to reduce some of the set. Lay some painter's tape down about 1/4 of an inch away from the gullets of your teeth. Moving from heel to toe, lightly run the stone along the teeth to remove the burrs. Always assess your set in between each pass by measuring with calipers. If more set needs to be removed, you can repeat this process or take a pass from toe to heel. If the total combined set is too strong, stone both sides. To conclude, mastering the art of using a saw set is essential for achieving precise and efficient sawing results. If you still have questions, contact us with the provided information in your instructions. Thanks again for your purchase, and happy sawing!